Almighty Father, the cherisher, sustainer of all the worlds, we seek the prayers and the peace upon this messenger Muhammad, who received the revelation of the Quran, upon his family, his companions, all of the Muslim believers throughout the world. Ameen. Dearly Muslims, believers, I just want to make a couple of announcements, a few announcements before we have our community address. And today, Imam Faheem Shuaibe will be given the community address. The first announcement is that we would like to thank the League of Muslim Women for their fan affair, the great affair that they have had here, they have hosted here this weekend. And we've had two great imams from the country, two leading imams. Imam Qasim Ahmed, who had to leave earlier, and we have with us today Imam Faheem Shuaibe. And these are two, I'm saying this. Yeah, I don't laugh. These are two imams that I hold high in esteem. I do. And I listen to them, and they have had an influence on me, especially Imam Qasim. He has had a very strong influence on me, very strong influence. Our studies is in the same area. You hear Imam Faheem Shuaibe, he's having an influence on me right now. Really? Because I study psychology. I mean, I've read about it. I read a lot on psychology. And the sister asked yesterday, where is this Muslim psychologist? See, I got the mic now, but hey, man, Faheem said, I'm looking for him. I'm looking for him, right? Now, that's the response of a student. But he's looking for him, right? But in his search, he ain't looking for him like, which one of y'all is it? He's looking for him up here, right? Why? Because when you're doing something, you always want to get the response from your peers. You don't want to, somebody, oh, that was nice, brother, heavy goosebumps. But when one of your peers say, hey, man, you ought to go over to Berkeley and do a visiting job. Then you know you found it, right? Yes. So what am I saying? I'm asking her question because she wouldn't let him answer, so I'm answering. Okay, I gave you the answer. So that's why now he's influencing me now. He's influencing me right now. I'm not talking about just today, I'm talking like tonight. I'm not talking about just now, this weekend. He's influencing. And we also know Imam Faheem from his articles from the Muslim commentary. He wrote in the Muslim commentary, which shows that our relationship didn't just start this weekend. And I remember how it started. Do you remember how it started? On the phone? Okay, you already know. I'm already back. But we found I see him as a good friend, as a friend. When I see him, when I'm out of town, we see each other. There's always a warm greetings, warm feelings that I get from Imam Faheem. And not only just him, but a lot of the imams. And I have high respect for them. And when they speak, I listen to them. And they do influence me. They influence me a great deal. But he's in the area now that I don't go into. I don't go into this area that he's going into with his studies. So I have to depend on him. I depend on him for what he says because I don't have the time to do what he's doing. So I have to listen to him. So he's influencing me in this area. He just said something yesterday. Y'all don't get it. He just said a little bit. He probably think he said a little bit. But I didn't show a whole lot of excitement and jump and hit the roof. But those know me, I could have tied it in today, but we don't have time. I'm just showing this is our relationship. It's not always physical because he's from Oakland and I'm here in Detroit. But I'm saying to you, this is an honorable imam amongst us.
Yes, sir.
That we have. These two imams, Imam Qasim and Imam Shuaibe. Imam Qasim, he's different. Our relationship is different. We all have various relationships, and it's in the Arabic studies. Now, that's my peer. So if I don't know how well I'm doing in Arabic, I go talk with Qasim. And I come back and say, I think I'm doing pretty good. Or I come back and say, I need to study some. And most of the time, I come back studying when I talk with Imam Qasim. But we have that relationship. So these are this weekend, sponsored by the League of Muslim Women. Sister Sahara, if there are comments that you want to make afterwards, after the address, we will allow the time for you to make some comments. The other comment I want to make, just a short comment I want to make from this weekend and from this month of Ramadan, that this is Masjid Wali Muhammad. And for those of you who don't know, all of you know this masjid is the masjid of everyone here in Detroit. Everyone here has come from this masjid. You've been a part of this masjid. You donated to it. You contributed to it throughout the years. So everyone has. So I want you all to know that our membership here at Masjid Wali Muhammad is anyone that we recognize as a Muslim, that we can look in their face. We see they're Muslim. No matter you be from the Muslim Center, you can be from the Fellowship, you can be from Al-Ikhlas. If we recognize you, you're a member here. You have membership here. And the masjid is for your use. We have those of us who are regular here, we're the custodians. That's all. Are we members of the Kaaba? So they've never been. Some may go only once. But are we members? They don't say they don't own the Kaaba. Right? They're the custodians. That's the same here. We're just the custodians, so we accommodate you for your use of the masjid. We're not here to say no. You're not a member. This is no club. We can't say, oh, but I'd like to use the masjid. I can't say no. All I can say is go to the secretary, give her the dates and times, so we won't conflict with someone else, and we can make arrangements. That's what we're here for. Okay? So don't think you have to ring the doorbell. And we go answer the doorbell, and we see one of you standing outside, and you wait and say, come in. It's your place. You come in. If we have a meetings, this is Islam. If you have a meetings, don't come to a meeting here and say, I represent. You come to the meeting, sit down, you're part of the meeting. And these meetings with me. If I'm in the meeting as an imam, we don't have meetings where we say you're not invited. You don't have to come and say I represent so-and-so. You come into the meeting and be part of the meeting. You know, don't come to cause no problems now. But just be part of the meeting. We don't have to do that. And if you represent so-and-so, you come in the meeting, you sit in the meeting, you go back and you represent them. Because I'll tell you, I'm not going to call you up and ask you, did you give him the message? That's between you and whoever you say you represent. You got it? Okay. So this is Masjid Wali Muhammad. And this is the spirit that we have in Detroit. And I'm saying, and these are not my words. These are words I'm getting from the believers. They're saying it's the big masjid. They're identifying with this masjid as the bigger masjid. It is bigger physically. That's all. We got some big imams out there that I hope they're going to start working closer with us. They are big. Don't ask me to start naming them now. Okay, so that's the policy here at Masjid Wali Muhammad. So the League of Muslim Women, they have had their affair here, and I would like to thank everyone who helped clean up. We made an announcement Friday, and some of you, I know y'all getting to learn me. I guess I said that right. We asked brothers who couldn't afford, who didn't have $50 for the tickets to come and see me. I didn't say sisters. I said brothers. And I didn't have time to explain then, but let me explain now. If the brothers didn't have $50, they would come and clean up. I don't have the heart to ask sisters to clean up. And I'm uncomfortable when sisters approach me saying they don't have something. I'm trying to figure out another way for that to happen. I'm not comfortable with it. And brothers we want brothers, and sisters have been asking me to get these brothers to do this, get these brothers to do that, and I'm doing it. I'm doing it with my method though. Okay? And the brothers should have the money before the sisters, or we're the establishment. We're responsible for the establishment Okay, I don't have to go no further. We said one sister, one brother came. So, and we all help clean up. I'm saying that to say that's our policy. You can use the masjid anytime, just clean up behind yourself. Anyone, wherever you're from, the masjid is open. We have next Saturday, we have the school affair at the Al-Ikhlas Training Academy on Miller Road. We have a map for it. We want to go over Saturday and help support that. That's Imam Nadir, is the principal of the school. We want to go and support that. We all want to go and support it Saturday. We're also going to have a blood drive January the 2nd. January the 2nd, we're going to have a blood drive. This is very important for us to give blood. Because the word is African Americans don't give blood. We don't give blood. This is what the hospitals are saying. Your people don't give blood. Our people be want blood though. On the weekends. Well, it's so bad now. It's not even weekends anymore. I know, because I was at a clinic and I had to go to the hospital, and the doctor told me this was Thursday. Doctor said you ought to get over there pretty fast before the weekend starts, or you may not get in. That's what the doctor said too. They call it trauma centers. They have nothing but trauma, and all the beds are full. Everything is full. I just learned about this stuff. So we don't give blood. We should give blood. So we're having a blood drive. Next Sunday, Abdul Malik will be addressing us here at Master Wali Muhammad next Sunday. Abdul Malik. He's been coming representing the Imam. He's a special representative of Imam Abdul Muhammad, and he's working on establishing the Imam's name here in Detroit, reintroducing the Imam here in Detroit. And he's a good speaker. He's another of the high Imams, Imams that I hold in high esteem. Imam Abdul Malik. He's a good brother. He's good. He's good too. These are good brothers that's coming visiting here. Imam Faheem, Imam Qasim, I'm talking about good right from here. These are good brothers. And good people know good people. So he'll be here Sunday. And we want to support what Imam Abdul Malik is doing. I hope I have a chance to sit and talk with him. We want to support what he's doing. Give him 100% support. So that's next Sunday. The Sunday after that, the youth will be here, and they will be addressing us here on the 17th. Some of us will want to be in Chicago at the retreat, but the youth will be making their presentation here. So let us support the youth. Let us be here and support the youth. Sometimes when I'm not here, no one else shows up. But the youth will be here, and it's very important for them. They're going to be doing a forum, and they're going to be doing the Talim. It's very important for them. Now, the last couple of things, we have tapes. We have tapes of Imam Qasim from this weekend, and we're going to have tapes of Imam Faheem Shuaibe of this weekend. They'll be available. Also, we have a tape of Imam Qasim's wife has done a recitation of the Quran. If you was at the convention, she did recitation at the convention. Very beautiful. Very beautiful recitation. So we're going to have those tapes available. Imam Faheem will have his tapes available, and the masjid will have some of this whole weekend available for him. So there's one more thing. The special edition we have available. The special edition of the Muslim Journal. Excuse me for 1 second. What's the figure on this, brother? Hello? Yes. No, I forgot. I'll see you later. Okay. Sorry, man, that's all. No, I have to explain, because he's a visitor. That's my son. And he has this number. He's the only one that has this number. Because my wife has passed, I have to make sure he can contact me. So that's the pickup. And that was him. So I have to make sure he can get in contact with me. During Jumu'ah, he doesn't call. But it's okay for us to stop for the Talim. Everything is real. And few believers that have my number, they haven't called me yet at this time. When they do, I'm changing my number. Okay, so with that, yes, we have a special edition of the Muslim Journal from the period of the convention. So those of you who did not get a copy of that, very important that you have a copy of the special edition of the Muslim Journal. So, okay, Imam Dawood Alim, he's in Ford Hospital, and he's in room H433. Who gave me this?
That's the Messina from it.
Okay. He wants us to know he's in room H433. Okay. He's at Ford Hospital. And I spoke with Imam Dawood this morning myself. He's in good spirits. We have to thank him. When you all call him, thank him for the dinner. He sponsored the pre-Ramadan dinner. We're going to thank him for that. H433. H433. Because you know Ford have all those wings. Okay, dear believers, with that, I introduce to you Imam Faheem Shuaibe, the resident Imam at Masjid Water Thing, Oakland, California. Peace be upon you. Assalamu alaikum.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله الذي خلق الإنسان في أحسن التقويم وبعث النبيين مباشرين ومنذرين وأنزل معهم الكتاب بالحق ليرشد الناس إلى سبيل الهدى ويخرجهم من الظلمات إلى النور وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له له الملك وله الحمد يحيي ويميت وهو على كل شيء قدير وأشهد أن سيدنا محمدا عبده ورسوله بعثه في الأميين رسولا منهم يعلو عليهم آياته ويزكيهم ويعلمهم الكتاب والحكمة وإن كانوا من قبل لا في ضلال مبين. All praise is due to Allah, the guardian, evolver, the cherisher, and sustainer of all the worlds, who created the human being in the most excellent mode and commissioned from among them messengers as bringers of good news and as warners, and sit down with them his book most clear, in order to bring the human being out of the darkness into the light, while before this they were in obvious and evident straying. And Allah raised that messenger, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, prayers and peace of Allah be upon him, raised him up from among the unlettered, the unschooled, the untutored, and ummi, a messenger from among them reciting the signs of Allah and teaching them the book and the wisdom, purifying them and teaching them the book and the wisdom. And we say, Allahumma salli wa sallim ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala, send your prayers and your peace upon our leader Muhammad wa ala alihi, and upon his descendants, wa sahbihi, and upon his companions, ajma'in, all of them. الدَّعِينَ إِلَى سَبِيلِ رَبِّهِمْ بِالْحِكْمَةِ وَالْمَعِزَةِ الْحَسَنَةِ. Those companions were the ones who called to the way of their Lord with wisdom and beautiful preaching. فَرَضِيَ اللَّهُ عَنْهُمْ أَجْمَعِينَ. And therefore we ask Allah your acceptance, be pleased with all of them. Wa ya ayyuhal muslimun, and to you our Muslims and to our visitors and friends, we say may Allah's peace His mercy and His blessings be on you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Wa Ramadan Mubarak. Alhamdulillah, it is my honor to stand here, Masjid Wali Muhammad, as the principal guest of the International League of Muslim Women and the leadership of Sister Sahira Muhammad, and as being hosted by Masjid Wali Muhammad and your noble Imam, Imam Salim Mu'min, that we have known. When you said telephone call, I remember a call, but I just don't remember what it was about. I remember the conversation. But I do know, we can stand here, really, and this is a new thing. The Mutual Admiration Society and the mutual love, etc., between, I have to say, I don't have any other way to say it right now, I'm not trying to offend anybody, but among studious imams. That spirit among studious imams is growing. Because, he said good people, Imam Salim, he said good people know good people, but then also studious people know studious people too. People who study know other folks who study. And people who study know other folks who talk and they don't study. We don't disrespect them. Now, when you add the good with the good studious ones will not disrespect the good unstudious ones, but they can't get no props. I mean, they got to come up, in that sense. And I mean that in the utmost humility that can be mustered in the situation. But the situation is things are serious and time is short and time for the dumb stuff to stop. It's just, really, that's where I am. It's like, if you're not serious about it, you need to get on away from it. Because we can say, Assalamu alaikum, alhamdulillah, we make salat together, but I ain't having no stupid conversations. I'm not having those. I don't have time for stupid conversations. It's time to talk about what's real, what's right, what needs to be done. It ain't time for talking about what shoulda, woulda, coulda been done, or who didn't do what, who shot John, and who brought him back, and all that. No. What are we about? What are we about? That's what we're about. And see, this is also part of it. I guess it's right for this spirit to capture me a little bit here at Detroit. And number one, as the history goes, say whatever you want to say about whoever we were and whatever we were in the Nation of Islam. If we wasn't anything, we were serious. If we wasn't anything, we were serious. We were serious that the white man was the devil. We were serious. The white man was the devil, straight like that. We were serious that the black man was God. We were serious. We were serious that the mothership is coming and you better get right or you ain't going to get on. We were serious. We were serious when we sold those papers. Serious when we sold that fish. Serious when we sold those bean pies. Serious when we sold those sardines. Serious when we went to Savior's Day. Serious when the regional minister came around. Serious when the brother captain was around. Serious when the secretary was saying time for that poll rate. Serious. And it wasn't nobody laughing. Wasn't no, you in the FY meeting, in the MGT meeting, and we talking about number 2 poll, didn't nobody crack a smile. If you didn't like it, you sure didn't say nothing. Now, with all what was wrong with that, also, now it's time we need to learn how not to throw the baby out with the bathwater. We still need to be serious. But we can also know how to be happy. I'm one of the most jovial, joking, humorous kind of imams around. But now I got some competition with Imam Cleveland. Imam Cleveland is a very funny imam. If you listen to him, look, he come up with some humor. It must be that southern humor. Funny. Let me go ahead and tell you one. I mean, this was when it really registered on me. This guy is funny. So I guess I started registering on his humor, though he's very erudite as a student of Imam Muhammad in detail too. But since I'm mentioning like this, because I want to keep the balance. Yes, we're going to be serious, but it's also time to be, humorous as well. But we got to keep the two in balance. Don't go to an extreme of either one. Then we become the people that Al-Islam calls us to. Here's example. We went to Arabia, Saudi Arabia, with Imam Muhammad in the early 90s, the time before the crisis, before the Gulf crisis. And And so we stayed in, well, they call it a palace, but basically it's like a 5-star hotel, but it's exclusive, meaning only certain people can be in there. So they call it a palace. So we were in there. So Yahya and myself had gone to Clement's room, and we were discussing something. We talked about something. So when we left his room, we were going down the hall. You have a broad hallway. So I'm walking, and Yahya Abdullah is walking. How many of you know Yahya Abdullah? From y'all say, okay, you all know Yahya. Okay. So I'm walking down the hall, and Yahya is walking down the hall. And so we were walking together. Now, Cleveland apparently is watching us out of his room as we go down the hall. And so he said, you know what? When y'all walk down the hall, you spell okay. So Yahya is like this, and I am like I am. I'm not here, right? When y'all walk down the hall, y'all spell okay. And that just broke me up. I said, man, that's right. That's right. So it's that kind of humor, they got a natural humor. So what I'm saying is that, yeah, we got to have humor. We also have to have seriousness. But over it all, this work, we have to be completely serious about it. I mentioned to a brother in Oakland the other day that we have been having some, atmospherically what the larger community might consider problems in terms of communication. I do not dislike this brother. I do not dislike him. You also have to learn how to separate who the person is and what the person does. When you learn how to separate who the person is and what the person does, and really have a sincere heart. You really have to check your heart. You have to be sincere in the sense that God is hearing the secrets of your heart. And you have to be sincere in that silence. Not sincere in the way you present yourself to people as the key thing. The key thing is, how am I presenting myself to God? So if God was to expose what was in my heart right now, what would it look like? Would it look like what I'm showing, or would it look other than what I'm showing? So that's, you can't be two-faced. You have to be sincere. The sincerity first comes to God. All right, and that also includes sincerity to yourself. That means you don't want to be dishonest before God. So you have to be able to, in your own heart, be able to say, hey, my heart is clear on this thing. My heart is pure on this thing. And Allah knows. So that's one thing. But when you talk about organization, it's like the Imam just suggested, come. It's everybody. It all belongs to it. But you just can't come with no stuff. If you come with the wrong stuff, the administration has an obligation to maintain the order. So anything that comes to disrupt the order, you leave them no choice other than to maintain the order. Now, if the majority of the people accept the order as it's established, and the leader represents the moral values of the people that they represent. So they have to make sure that the order that's agreed upon by the group with whom they represent, and of course in Islam, according to the Quran, Muhammad, the leadership of Imam Muhammad for this community, then yes, with all those qualifications, then stuff is defined by that. Anything that don't fit within that framework, that's stuff. And it's the responsibility of the Imam to eliminate all the stuff. So if you don't come with no stuff, it won't be no stuff. That's how it is, right? So that being said, then, so there's going to be some difficulty. Over and above it all, there has to be this seriousness in terms of that. So speaking of this person that I'm representing, we'll make it so that I hadn't been back to Oakland for like the Jummah that I did Friday was like after an absence of like 3 months, having been out traveling. So I went back. So first time I really got to see a collected number of the believers was at the Tarawih prayer maybe Tuesday night. And of course, it's like homecoming. Hey, something like that. And my brother was there too, and I felt just as happy to see my brother. In terms of, shook hands, pat him on his chest, and that whole, hey, because we had a long history, also in the Nation of Islam experience in the life. And so I'm in the line, and this thought came across my mind in the course of the prayer, in the course of preparing for the Salat, that that I thought to myself, in the brief periods, as we do think about some things while we're praying, within that, thought came in and go out, well, should I say it or shouldn't I say it? Should I say it or shouldn't I say it? But it was a very strong thought I'm going to share with you in a moment, because the thought itself was very encouraging to me. It was very inspiring to me because I had never thought this thought about anyone except with reference to this person. And I felt good about it. Then the question became, is this something that I should save until Eid? Maybe a thought like this, maybe I should just share this with him at Eid. Or should I do it now? I wasn't thinking about how he was going to take it, how he wasn't going to take it. I wasn't even caring about that because it was a thought that was given to me, a thought that I enjoyed, and it had to do with him. And so I was going to share with him because if he had the heart that I was praying and hoping that he had, then he would receive it as the gift that he should receive it if his heart is good. Allah knows the person's heart. I don't know the person's heart. But my prayer is that I hope your heart is good because this is a good thing that you're going to get if you take it. But if your heart is not good, then I start losing more and more hope for you in terms of this life and the life that comes hereafter, even though Allah knows best. So after the salat, it just became obvious to me, no, you need to say this right now. Because there were other aspects of it that were included. And they're these. That, it's just like the Imam, right? Just think locally. It's really true with any situation. In terms of a political environment, there are politics. Whenever you're dealing with people, there is politics involved. So people talk about, I ain't going to get involved with the politics. No, if you're dealing with people, you're going to deal with politics. Politics is people. Okay? You just want to try to make sure that it's good. Since I don't think it's going to work. Come on, some of the old school sisters, y'all know how it's supposed to go now. I'm in number one. Y'all know no problem. There's also speakers downstairs, right? Are the speakers downstairs? So the children can be free. It's hard to ask children to stay still for this long. And they can have a little more freedom to move downstairs. That's right. Believe me, some of these old folks are sitting here just doing the same thing. Inside. They're just too grown to do it out loud. So that's it. So have compassion also on the sister. Right. That's a whole subject in and of itself. It really is. I can't go into it. So, okay, so I was talking about this contact with his brother. So after the prayer, I went to the brother, and I said to him, I had a thought that I never had this thought before, and I've never thought of it about anyone else. It's about you, so I feel like I need to share that with you now. And I told him this. I said, wouldn't it be wonderful if we met each other in Jannah? Take a minute to think about that. Have you ever gone to a convention or gone somewhere and you didn't expect to see somebody, but you saw somebody from a long time ago, you went to school with, or you used to work with, and you had good times with, and then you run into, hey, what's going on? Now that's an earthly thing. You had a convention or you had a class reunion or whatever. I said, wouldn't it be wonderful if we met each other in Jannah? Now think about that. If you qualify, inshallah, you're going to get in Jannah. But everybody's not going to be qualified to make it in Jannah. But wouldn't it be wonderful to be able to run into this person and embrace them in the Jannah? And there's a big message in that for me, and I'll share it with you. It means both of us got to get qualified to get to Jannah. Right? Yeah. And so that's what I say. I didn't say if I met you in Jannah or you met me in Jannah. I would say if we met each other. If we met each other in Jannah. So it means that we both got to do what it takes in order to get there. And if we can let all of us in this world evaporate, in a Steven Spielberg kind of way, just like all this is gone. It's all over. Khalas, that's it. Now, either you are in hell or you in Jannah, and there's no turning back, there's no fixing anything that wasn't fixed before now. Wouldn't it be wonderful if we could see each other in Jannah? What I'm trying to say also, don't let whatever is hanging you up in this world, one brother to a brother, one sister to a sister, don't let that overshadow the fact that all of us are going to die one day. It ain't going to matter whether you went to this masjid or that center, or whether you was married in this mosque or that mosque, or whether your mama went to this one or your daddy. What's going to matter is what you have earned from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. None of our organization, nothing's going to matter, but what you have qualified with under God. So if we can think like that now, then small stuff will truly become small stuff. We'll truly begin to recognize, what are we tripping on? What's all this? For what? Let's put this in the context of heaven and hell. Let's put this in the context of life after death. How important is it going to be whether, you gave $2 in zakat, at this masjid or 200 at the other? What's going to be important? Is your relationship with Allah. That's the most important. The only time we have problems between each other is because we're making something bigger than it ought to be. The things are out of proportion. We got to put things back into perspective. Listen to this Discovery Channel kind of thing. And if you don't do it, you should do it on a regular basis. You're going to learn. You're going to get something, especially if you relate it to Al-Islam. Well, this person was one of the mere astronauts, one that when the Russians and the Americans got together in the space station. And he was one of the astronauts. He was a doctor. He went up there, and they stayed for 5 months up there with the Russians. And up there with the Russians, down on the earth, it's Russia, America, we don't like each other, But now they're up there, high above the earth, 18,000 miles above the earth, in this space station for 5 months with each other, and they come to see each other not just as Russians or Americans. They learn how to see each other just as human beings, and learn how to recognize how much they really depended on each other in order to survive the scenario that they found themselves in, right? And what he says is that by being up there, looking at the planets and looking back on the earth and getting an entirely different perspective of the earth, looking at it, what it really is in the scheme of the cosmos, seeing how really small human beings, you can't even see human beings 18,000 miles. You are not even seen 18,000 miles away. That's not even as far as the moon. That's not even as far as the sun. But just 18,000 miles, you can't even see a human being on the earth. All you see is just the land. You see the earth. You see the air. You see the atmosphere. And then you recognize that everybody depends on this earth for their survival. The Russians depend on that same globe. The Americans depend on that same globe. The Chinese, everybody depends on the same globe. So if something goes wrong with that, it's bad for everybody. So he said he wished everybody could get out, away, back up from it, and then look back on it, and then put themselves in perspective. And by putting themselves in perspective, then they get a greater appreciation of the harmony, the unity, and the mutual interdependence that we have on this one planet. He didn't come back with the Cold War mindset. He didn't come back with the racist mindset. He didn't come back with the say, oh, that's them and this is us. He came back seeing, hey, we're all one, and we all depend on one planet. Yes. And all this other stuff is low-level stuff. It's not even visible in the divine scheme of things. Yes. And I'm telling you, brothers and sisters, sometimes you just need to get away. Yes. Some of us been around here too long. You ain't even left the house. I'm telling you, some people live in the city, die in the city, and they just been, excuse me, sisters, I got a bitching about nothing. Yes. No, you're right. But if you get away and go see something, I'm telling you, alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen, I've been to most of the masjid centers, etc., quote unquote, of significance, to say representative of communities in this association. And most of us don't appreciate what we have, wherever we have, because I can tell you, wherever you go, you can find somebody that's better situated, and you can find somebody that's worse situated than you. Yes. There's places that look better than Masjid Wali, and there's places that look far worse than Masjid Wali. There's places that look better than Masjid Wali, and there's places that look far worse than Masjid Wali. So wherever you go, you're going to find somebody that's better off, you're going to find somebody that's less off than you. What you need to do is go and see what's good about the other set, bring it back to yours, and try to implement that so that you can have something that represents the good of all. That's how we're supposed to gain from each other. Now, this part of the conversation started with reference to the kind of things that Imam Salim was saying about myself, Imam Qasim, Imam Abdul Malik, etc., etc. And of course, and as I say, there are many, many excellent things I can say about him that need to be said. And I'm not concerned about, when he said this and then now that's going to give him a badge over brother so-and-so down the street. Really, if I was on the street, I'd just cuss at that statement. I've already said as much cussing as I'm going to say right now. I'm not just not. That's what I'm saying. Is the Imam said everything is real. And see, one of the things that we just don't get real with each other. Sometimes we just try to keep fronting the holy thing, Alhamdulillah, mashallah, brother, no, alhamdulillah, no, you shouldn't say those kinds of things. Where you come from? Now, where you come from and what you say is a lot worse than what I just said and for a lot meaner purposes. Now, that person that I'm talking to, that don't apply to all of them. It applies to somebody, I can guarantee you. No, and I started trying to point out that there's a history, there's a good thing in our past that we're leaving behind, that we need to bring back, and I'm telling you it's coming back. One of the things that ministers in the old nation of Islam used to do, they didn't have no problem repeating each other. They had no problem. I know, John Muhammad was over in San Francisco, he come from somewhere, he would repeat Imam Rahman from down in Atlanta, Imam John Muhammad, Imam John B.X., who came from Buffalo, New York. Where's my sister in Buffalo? All right, he came from Buffalo, New York to where we are. He was all in that circle, and the kind of camaraderie that they shared, and the kind of knowledge and information, whatever was working in their city, they would share it with the minister in another city, so the minister can start using it in his city to make his thing better. That's what they had, this cooperation, they had that unity, they had this mutual sharing and the mutual influence. The Imam talked about being influenced. Believe me, that is something that must come back, and I do. When I came here, I've spent money behind his recommendation, a lot of money behind his recommendation since I've been here, because he's a source that can be trusted, as he indicated, for the knowledge as relates to the Lugha Arabiya, etc. I'm sure he can be trusted for many, many more things. But we also have to learn how to acknowledge the good that a person has. Don't be jealous of the good that another person has. Is envy and jealousy, the Prophet ﷺ said, eats up good deeds like fire eats up grass. Have you ever seen fire eat up grass? Well, that's what envy and jealousy does to your good deeds. Do you have good deeds to spare? Do you have good deeds? Just do these. Let me burn these up. I don't like that. Don't burn that one. No, brother. We need every good deed and reward that we can get so we don't have a moment for envy. One philosopher, not Muslim, but natural philosophers, which means they reflect on the natural creation, so really they do the Islamic thing to come up with their knowledge. Natural philosophers, meaning that they reflect on nature, which is what God tells us to do. Anyway, he said, envy is ignorance and imitation is suicide. You think about that. Put that in your pocket. Take it with you wherever you go. Envy is ignorance and imitation is suicide. There's a brother, come from Detroit. Good brother, Abdul Rahman. Well, he's good. He was good when he left me. He got slow in terms of Detroit. I don't know what's happening. Abdul Rahman, he recites. I think he's at a hospital. He works with some doctors. He has a CD on Quran. Hanif, Hanif Abdul Rahman. Now, Hanif Abdul Rahman, he was in Oakland for a while. And he was the muezzin in Oakland for a while. And he had a beautiful adhan there in Oakland. Okay? And it was so beautiful that I, started kind of imitating it. Not when I did it publicly, but now at the time he was there, I was doing much more teaching and et cetera than being a muezzin, because basically that was his role at that time. But periodically I would make the adhan, and I made it in my way, and I have had people say, "Your adhan is nice too." But periodically I would just kind of do the adhan the way he made the adhan. Because I worked for the city of Oakland at this time, so I would be going back and forth to the city of Oakland. So, and it was beautiful in its sound, its resonance, etc. So I made it. So he made the adhan, and so one day, a sister asked me, said, "Brother man, when you gonna do the adhan? I love the way you do the adhan." Now that's all a guy needs to hear. Sister tell him, "I like the way you do it." And he said, "Hey, get out of the way. I'm about to make this thing." So I took my little ego shot. Alhamdulillah. I went on, right? So I'm on my way back to work. So I start out trying to do the adhan the way I do the adhan. Couldn't do it. Try it again. Couldn't do it. Scared me to death. I said, "Man, you can't do the adhan the way you used to do the adhan." See, your mental practice is practice. Whatever you practice mentally, you're actually practicing that. Then I thought about that statement. Envy is ignorance, and imitation is suicide.
Yes.
When you imitate somebody, you kill yourself.
Yes.
So the abilities you have, you spend that time trying to get like somebody else's ability, you lose your own ability.
Yes.
So don't imitate anybody.
Yes.
Now that means a little more than be yourself. But don't imitate, because God has given you something.
Yes.
I mean, that's so eminently important, dear brothers. So many of us have lost opportunity in our life. You're mad right now because you have not found in you what God has given you. Now you're miserable and you try to make everybody around you miserable because you haven't discovered what God gave you. And you might even have gone as far as thinking, God didn't give me nothing. You might really hate God, but you're in here acting like you believe in God. God, why you let me go through my life like this? You're supposed to be taking care of me. No, you still in the church. Because Allah says He will never change the grace that He bestows upon people until they change it themselves with what is in their own souls. And He said, "Let him who finds good praise Allah. Let him who finds other than that blame nobody but himself."
That's right.
That's real. See, you see, that's real. God has been real with us. When He revealed God, He said, "This life is a trial." He told us in the book, "We have put you into toil and struggle." He said He created life and death to try you. Which of you is best in conduct? Now, God has made no secret there's going to be some hard stuff. But He says, فَإِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا. Verily, with the difficulty is He. And in the ayahs that talk about Ramadan, it tells us God desires facility for you. He does not desire difficulty for you, but He wants you to complete the prescribed period, that perchance that you may be grateful.
Yes.
And to glorify Him, right? To glorify Him, perchance you may be grateful. God said, "Yeah, I know it's a little hard. But if you keep faith in me, you're going to be real happy." But if what has been done to you, and this is the thing where Allah's mercy feeds in quite a bit, in that something has been done to Negroes that haven't been done to anybody else. And so something has been taken out of us in this operation. Imam describes it by Imam Muhammad. He describes it by saying, it says, we have been subject to an experimental clinic where we have been where we have been deprived of the ability to function in the vital areas of our life. Meaning that an operation has taken place to take those things vital to normal functioning out of us. We've been subject to an experiment. It's like UFO abduction. Yeah, I mean, that's the, I was abducted. They took my spleen. Okay. Well, we have been, in that sense, we've been subject to an experiment where we were put to sleep, something was taken out of us, and as we wake up now, we find ourselves unable to function in any area that's vital for our life. I'm going to say it again. We are unable to function in any area that's vital to our life. I need to say it one more time. We're unable to function in any area that's vital to our life. Now, here's the example. We can't spend money together. Operation. Took it out of it. I don't spend my money with them folks. But you one of them. They my color, but they ain't my kind. Operation. Took out of it. We can't appreciate each other. It's vital for us to be able to appreciate each other if we're going to succeed. But if every time one do good, we look at the good they do, and we get jealous, and we try to turn people away from acknowledging even the good. You don't succeed without appreciating each other. Afraid to compliment each other. Oh, he gonna think he all that in the bag of chips. No! Operation took that out of you. The ability to compliment each other took that out of us. The ability to appreciate each other took that out of us. The ability to emulate. There's a difference between imitate and emulate. We are supposed to emulate the prophets and emulate the companions. That means the ability to follow the example of good in a person without losing your own identity.
Yes.
There's some people say they're following the sunnah. No! You're imitating an image of the prophet that you've been given. You're not emulating the prophet.
Yes.
You just want to look like what looks like
Yes.
might have been at the prophet's time.
Yes.
But you don't have the capacity, the one with this problem, don't have the capacity to look in and find the excellence of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the excellence of the companions, and then show that in a way that reflects your real identity. I don't have to wear a thobe to prove I'm trustworthy.
Yes.
I don't have to wear a turban to prove that I'm loyal to the Quran. I don't have to wear sandals to prove that I believe in the way of the Prophet. I just live it.
Yes.
And all you have to do is be around me enough to know, well, he don't follow something. Or he does follow something. All you have to do is watch. But what we get spooked. Everyone has a turban, thobe, sandals, liquor, miswak. Oh, the brother follows sunnah. But that nigga may be waiting just to rob you.
Yes.
Since he knows you on that animal level of just looking at the general attributes, you get bought into that. That's con game. I'm talking about the criminal. I'm not saying everybody that wears a turban, everybody wears a thobe, everybody that has miswag, thick biggerbees and sandals is a crook. I am not saying. I'm not saying anyone who wears that is crazy. I'm not saying that. You should be understanding what I'm saying. I'm trying to tell you that that ain't it. So we've been experimented on and deprived of the ability to do that. And unity is one of those things. Unity among us, you can see that real easy. You know slavery from Jump Street was never in the plan for none of us to ever be unified. You do understand that. That was one of the first and primary organs, if you will, to be extracted. Never want you to cooperate with each other. It was against the law. Never let you aggregate more than two. It was against the law. The whole culture, the whole system was designed to enforce that value or lack thereof into you. And that lack of unity became an inherited trait. Sometimes we don't understand. Some of our behaviors, they start as secondary instinct. The Imam said, that's the kind of thing I am into. I guess I am. Sometimes I kind of resist that label a little bit, but I am into that. Yeah, it starts out as a secondary instinct. Things that you take on as a secondary instinct, as a habit. That's what a secondary instinct is a habit. If enough generations practice that habit, at some point a generation will inherit it as a primary instinct.
Yes.
It's adaptation. You know about the survival of the fittest and natural selection and all those kind of things? It's a hell of a thing trying to live black in America. I mean, I tell you, well, why don't we talk about the universal Muslim? And yeah, I am talking about the universal Muslim. In that the way that the human nature functions. Human nature is the universal Muslim. And when the human nature comes under certain influences, it responds in certain ways. And that's what I'm telling you. I'm telling you that our human nature, being subject to the scheme that it's been subject to, we have been enforced into a habit, yeah, that is correct, English, inhabit, of disunity. The culture enforced on us a culture of disunity for so many generations that disunity became our habit. So much so now that some have inherited the disunity gene. Wow. Don't keep wondering, how come we can't get together? It wasn't never meant for you to get together. Well, how come if it's a genetic thing, how can we overcome the genetic thing? Well, this is all hypothesis. I got to put it right there. But hypothesis means an educated guess. I think I'm educated enough to guess it. That's right. Alhamdulillah. Look, how you overcome it? Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Faith in Allah. Faith in Allah. Listen, faith in Allah. The Quran says, وَقَالُوا سَمِعْنَا وَأَطَعْنَا غُفْرَانَكَ رَبَّنَا وَإِلَيْكَ الْمَصِيرُ. They say, he said, and the believers, they say, Allah and the believers, Allah's messenger and the believers, they say, we hear and we obey. What is that? That's stimulus response. Stimulus response. They don't think about it. They don't reason about it. They just hear it, they act on it. And the Prophet ﷺ said, none of you is a believer until his ahwa, until his impulses, his passions, his instinct follow what I brought. Until he follows what I brought. Which means that if we can simply, in faith, do what God tells us to do, then the effects of that inheritance can be reversed.
Yes.
Okay, here's the example. Allah says in the Quran, let there be mutual trade amongst you. Let there be trade amongst you with mutual goodwill. Do you know that that's an order in the Quran? That Muslims are ordered to do business with each other? It's an order. Like for the Qamat al-Salah, it's an order. Just like I said, Hayya al-Salah, when it says come to prayer, when it says establish prayer, in the same way God said, and do business with each other with goodwill. That's an order. Or how can we obey God in prayer, but we don't obey Him in economics? It's the Negro. It's the Negro within, as we say, so the Negro within. I'm laughing. It's funny. You gotta laugh to keep from crying sometimes. But you know what? Everybody knows this but us. A lot of my witness, everybody knows this but us, brothers and sisters. Go get that movie Dark Man sometime after Ramadan, maybe. Get that movie Dark Man. And if you don't see black folks in that, then you blind. Because first they call the movie Dark Man, straight up. You know, I mean, you can't just say black man. You can't say black man. It's a dark man. And in reality, if you look at the Arabic, I swear it doesn't mean black, right? It doesn't mean just straight black. It's like it means dark or